Today I'm going to make a Stormtrooper blaster out of cardboard. For this build, I use cardboard tubes, cardboard packaging, paint, hot glue, cutting tools, sanding tools, safety gear, scissors, razor pens, and a box cutter. First I took apart a cereal box and laid it out flat. Then I drew a handle onto the cardboard. When I was satisfied with the shape, I cut it out. Don't worry about the trigger for now. After it was cut out, I flipped it over and traced it back onto the cardboard and cut out the trace, thus mirroring it. This is so that the packaging art won't be visible on the other side. Now to bulk it out, you could make several more traces and cut those out and just stack them, but I'm going to use scrap foam as spacers, just because I have a ton of it, and cardboard is recyclable, whereas I don't think EVA foam is. All I'm trying to do is reduce my contribution to the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Although to be honest, I think the Pacific Ocean could use a Texas. Yeah, you see, it's not solid though, it's just kind of floating there in a globulous mass. When the glue had cooled, I cut a strip of cardboard and placed it over the outer edge to cover up the foam. You may have noticed that I left a gap just in front of the handle. That's going to be where I attach the trigger. So I made sure that rather than completely wrapping the outside edge, I left that gap open with the cardboard as well for the trigger guard. So I want to point out here that the actual blaster handle is a little bit more triangular, but I've included a truss here just to make the whole assembly more sturdy. I mean, you never see it in any of the movies. They never unfold that stock. Like in 9 movies, they never unfold the stock. I mean, hey, it works. Next, I cut out this sort of a wind-up key shape for the trigger. It looks sort of silly now, but bear with me. That's only because it's flat. I designed this in a way that I can fold it up and it'll look three-dimensional. I did that by drawing it partially on the box seam, but then I did some light scoring with my razor pen to create another edge to fold along. I folded it up and put some craft foam in there for support. I left some craft foam sticking out the back of it so that I could mount it inside and it would have a little bit of a springiness to it. I've done trigger mechanisms before using springs and or rubber bands, but that's really overkill for this project. Next, I cut another strip of cardboard to make the trigger guard. I glued it down with hot glue, and because there's some tension on that being curved, I weighted it down with metal blocks. Alright, now we got a basic blaster. For the barrel, I'm using a wrapping paper core, but you can also use 2 paper towel rolls and just stick them together. I just thought this was a little bit more sturdy, and I'm gonna have to punch so many holes in this. So at first this could seem really complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. All you gotta do is draw a grid and mark where the holes are gonna be, where the lines intersect, alternating every other square. I mapped that out on paper first, making sure that the dimensions match the tube. Like you could also just cut up the tube and fold it flat and draw directly on there, but I didn't want to create extra seams. Like the tube is gonna be incredibly weakened by all the holes that I'm gonna punch in this. So anywhere that I can preserve its strength. Next, I followed my map and punched out the holes using a leather hole punch. Kinda overkill, because this is just cardstock. This is just really thick paper. I think it's important to point out that not all the holes are visible, but the ones at the edges are, the ones in between the metal tracks are. So I punched out all the holes on this map regardless. And a very weird bruise was my reward. Probably should have worn gloves for this. Next, I wrapped that around the cardboard barrel and taped down the edges using painter's tape. Then I took it outside and gave it a light pass with black spray paint. This will put the whole pattern onto the barrel without me having to deal with the aggravation of drawing a cylindrical grid. You always want to paint outside because the spray paint hangs in the air and sort of floats around in a cloud and always seems to get on something beyond your drop cloth. Not to mention the fumes aren't good to breathe. So do it outside where you're not going to hurt anything but the environment, says this convenient dead patch right below where I paint. When it dried, I brought it back inside and carefully took off the painter's tape because again, I'm trying to save this pattern. I think once it's scanned in, I'm going to use it to make another blaster. Not necessarily the E-11, but something that looks like it would fit in the Star Wars universe. I don't know. I'll do like a community post for that one if it works out. Maybe like a shorts tutorial? Alright, that worked out better than I thought it would. Yeah, because eventually I'm going to paint this whole thing black, and these will be completely erased. This is just to show me where to cut. However, there's going to be a lot of unnecessary work if I cut them all out, so before I do that, I'm going to glue on the parts. First, I glued on the handle with hot glue. I like hot glue for cardboard projects. If you don't have hot glue, you can just use regular school glue, but then of course the project will take way longer. So, you know, depends on your time frame. For the handle grip texture, I ripped off one side of a piece of corrugated cardboard to reveal the corrugation, cut it to the size of the handle, and glued it on either side that is. Next, I cut a length of cardboard, about the width of that long horizontal truss, but a little bit longer, out of corrugated cardboard so that it would bend easier, and then glued it on, although despite it being longer, I scrunched it up so that from the side it looks like it's the same length. This causes it to bow out in the middle, where I folded to reinforce the bends that I wanted, and that way it'll match the folding stock of the SMG. I don't think I've even named that yet. It's based on an SMG, the Sterling SMG. So in real life, that front grip of the Stormtrooper blasters, that actually folds out and behind the blaster to create a stock for more stability. But again, they never use that in any of the movies. So anyway, it has a hinge on either end. I simulated that with some flat circular pieces on the back and cut up pieces of very narrow cardboard tube for the front hinge where the cylinder itself would be visible. Oh, it's silver, by the way, because I salvaged it off of another prop that got crushed in transit. That's another reason why I save all the templates. If I lose a prop, I can just rebuild it, you know? It's a lot faster when you have a pattern to follow. Even for me, most of the time commitment for this is just figuring it out. Once it's figured out, it's like, you know, it's easy. Then everything becomes a one-day build if you have a pre-existing template, he said, tempting the prop-making gods. Oh, you rely on all these machines? Well, today there's gonna be a blackout. Then I added the sides of the front handle to the front under part of the blaster, and there we go. It's starting to look Star Warsy. Now for the rails to cover up some of the holes. For those, I started off with a narrow cardboard tube. This one was used to protect glow sticks. You know those glow stick bands? They gotta stay perfectly straight until you want them to actually glow because it's a chemical process. And if you bend the tube, which will happen in transit, it'll break and mix it, and they've got a, you know, lifespan of only a few hours. So I took that narrow tubing and cut two sections at a length of just between the outermost barrel holes. Then I cut them in half lengthwise to create troughs. That'll give me 4 of them, and I cut a shorter length for the narrow section that'll go on the underside of the barrel. Before attaching them, I marked where they would go and which holes they would completely cover. Then I started cutting out holes. This saves me the work of having to cut out holes that are just going to be completely covered up in the end. So basically I only have to cut out the end holes and a couple rows of side holes. See, when you're working with cardboard, the more holes you cut in it, the weaker it becomes, and you got to think about what you're using these for. I'm going to use this for display, cosplay, and short cutaway films, and it's not always going to be me who's using it, you know? Like, I built it, I know how much stress it can withstand. An actor, not so much. And a lot of times when they're pretending to be a commando, they'll grip the thing like it's a real blaster, even though it's made of cardboard and they could crush it. In fact, it'd probably be best to make the barrel out of PVC pipe. Like, that would be sturdiest, but I sort of pigeonholed myself into the gimmick of making the whole thing out of cardboard. I don't mind. It's, you know, it's fun to shake things up every now and then. Sort of see it as a challenge. But no, if I wasn't making this for YouTube, I think the barrel would be PVC, some of the details would be cardboard, and other details would be foam. That's just me, though. Yeah, mixed media is best. Yeah, my hope is that somebody starting from scratch who's actually trying to build this will watch several tutorials on the same thing and then cherry pick what works for them to make their own blaster. You know, I'm not saying this is how to do it, I'm saying this is how I did it, and I hope it helps. Speaking of, I realized at this point I actually cut slightly too many holes, and I've gone down into the space that has different details on it. And if you fall into that trap, don't worry, there's an easy fix. Just take a section of cardboard tube, cut a gap for the handle, and then slide it down over the prop to where it covers the extra holes. Super easy. I glued that down so it wouldn't go anywhere. Then I cut a hole in the side where normally a shell would be ejected. Although the only practical purpose this serves me is that I can finally empty out all the circle offcuts so the thing doesn't rattle around when I'm carrying it. I used some of those offcuts to add more detail here and there and look like rivets. Finally, I started gluing the rails over the holes. Okay, so for most Star Wars props, they change, like the details change depending on what movie you're watching, sometimes within the movie itself. And as I researched this, I found that original screen-used Stormtrooper blasters had these outward turn pipes, whereas a lot of the more modern ones that are supposed to take place in the same era, like the whole, you know, Rogue One and Andor take place same time as New Hope, they have T-rails on them, the same as on Luke Skywalker's original lightsaber. So I'm guessing what that that is that the outward turned pipes are kind of sharp, and the heroes at one point steal the Stormtrooper gear and are running around blasting stuff with them. And I can just see, you know, the lead actors cutting up their hands on those outward turned metal pipes. So that would be why they changed in the future. Wouldn't matter for the Stormtroopers because they're wearing gloves. Anyway, cardboard is much less likely to cause that problem, so I'm going with the New Hope look. And I do want to save these shapes for when I do the template. I'm going to add these to all my armor templates, by the way. So I offer my template patterns, link in the description down below, but the site that hosts them took down my Alien Romulus blaster, and they said it was because of their policies to not sell firearms, and it's like, that is the most sci-fi looking, it might as well be a Super Soaker. But that's how strict their policy is on fake blasters. And you know, like, I get it. I understand. The police and the security people are trained to sort of look for these things. And when you're trained to look for something that is blaster shaped, you know, the mind fills in the blanks and it could set them off. Although generally, if like you're also wearing the Stormtrooper costume, if you got the full get up, then you're fine. But still, don't be stupid with these things. Just look up the convention policies beforehand and abide by them. I was at a convention once and they were zip tying people's blasters into their holsters. They called it peace binding them, and they stopped a Han Solo to zip tie his DL-44, you know, the broom handle. And I'm like, you know, they're doing this because they know you're gonna shoot first, right? It's not gonna stop them. Anyway, so the way I'm getting around the hosting site's policies is I'm just gonna add this blaster pattern to all of my Stormtrooper armor. So any Stormtrooper armor you pick up, it's gonna have that blaster pattern. That'll be my workaround. Next, I cut up a cardboard box to create the top rail that the sight will attach to. I glued it on, then glued on the back sights, and then the front sight, just so I don't forget. I'm drawing that flat in a way that it will fold out and become three-dimensional. I cut it out, folded it, and glued it to the front. While I'm up front, I did some more work on the muzzle. This blaster has a very weird muzzle, even before all the sci-fi stuff. It gets progressively narrower, part of it's offset, it's very weird. I feel like George's direction to the prop master was find the ugliest blaster and make it uglier. And you know what? It works. For the internal barrel, I took another glow stick protector and cut it to the correct length. Then I cut out some foam donuts to hold it in the center. You can also use cardboard for these. Again, I just have a lot of scrap foam. After that, I painted the inner barrel black with flat black paint, and I let that sit and dry. While it dries, I cut an end cap out of cardboard to go on the back end, and cut another one for the front muzzle, but again, it's very unusual. It has hex nuts on either side of the barrel itself, which sort of makes it look like it has 3 barrels. I used some even smaller cardboard cores for that. Then I made the scope out of various diameter cardboard tubes and inset them. One of them I actually squashed into an oval shape because the front of it has the appearance of being offset a bit, and I glued it to the top. Now that the internal barrel was dry, I shoved it down the muzzle and aligned it through the front spacer and set it into the back spacer. Then I added the bolt of the Sterling SMG to the body of the blaster. Now back to the muzzle, I added another diameter cardboard tube and placed it offset, which is how it's supposed to be. That's how it's designed. And then added an even smaller diameter tube with a cutout that matched the wider one's cutout and glued those together. I swear that's how it's supposed to be. Eventually, I filled in the negative spaces around the barrels to flatten out the surface. Next, for the magazine adapter, I took a soap box, cut off the glued seam and laid it flat, and then literally just reassembled it backwards so that all the art was on the inside. Then I cut one end to be slanted, the long sides were slanted, and the ends were curved so that it would lie flush with the barrel. Again, it's supposed to be slightly slanted forward, that's how it was designed. I glued that to the side of the barrel. I cut up various small cardboard boxes and scrap cardboard to create the ammo counter and glued it to the side. I also made some of the smaller magazine adapter details by cutting up matchbooks and gluing them on. Then I cut up more tubes and glued them on top of the magazine adapter. After that, I took apart another soap box, and instead of just rebuilding it inside out, I cut down the sides a little bit so that it would be slightly narrower than the first one. Then I cut strips of regular cardboard and glued them to the top and bottom of the magazine. I made a cardboard end cap and slapped it into the adapter. And there we go. Yeah, look at that. There's a cardboard blaster. exactly as durable as a Stormtrooper's armor. Now I'm sure some prop enthusiasts are gonna say that there are a few details missing, and they're right. It's just those are literally all little bits of metal that you can make out of paper clips and stuff, and it just does not make sense to attach those before you paint it. And that's my clever workaround on how to get around YouTube's thumbnail scanner. All right, now that I got the cardboard pictures for the thumbnail, I can go ahead and paint it. This time, I'm painting it way more thoroughly and heavily than when I was doing the holes. In fact, this is gonna cover up some of the holes that I painted but didn't cut out. Luckily, those are obscured by the side rails. I painted the magazine separately so as not to glue it into the blaster. So I'm doing this outside, but way out of view of the public, surrounded on all sides by trees and walls. And that's just because, you know, I'm wearing all black painting clothes. Honestly, even if I was wearing my colorful painting clothes, I'd still look incredibly disheveled. And that walk from the garage to the house, if anyone did see me dressed like this, carrying that, it'd be a bit of a red flag. So again, always be mindful of your surroundings. I swear, it's literally just, I don't want to get black paint on colorful clothes. All right, so there we go. Now don't tell the algorithm. All right, who talked? Snitches get glitches. After the paint was dry, I added some small greeblies, including strap clips, wires, lenses for the scope, which are entirely ornamental. You can't actually see through them. Some metal adjustment knobs, just because I have them, and the knurling matches. Now, I could call this done, but I got some LEDs lying around, so I strung up those red LEDs in there, which may not be accurate, I just think it looks cool. And that was it. That's how to make an E-11 blaster. Perfect for unaliving Jawas and literally nothing else. Jawas must be their training targets or something. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, I'd like to thank my patrons. These videos just wouldn't be possible without the support of my patrons. So if you enjoy these builds, want to see more of them, and want your build request to carry a bit more weight, think about heading on over to the Patreon page, where you can enjoy ad-free early uploads. Anything you can pledge goes towards improving the video quality and shop equipment, as well as allowing me to put together bigger and more exciting projects for you on the channel. Alright, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified of the future uploads, because it's kind of at a totally random schedule. And let me know what other props you'd like to see me make in comments down below. Thanks again, happy crafting, see you later!